Good morning. Nice of you guys to drop by.
What a piece of junk. What are you talking about?
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
Look, don't worry. Everything's gonna be fine. Trust me.
I don't know what all this trouble is about, but I'm sure it must be your fault. Don't get technical with me.
This bickering is pointless.
Don't everybody thank me at once.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
How could you even say that?
I got a bad feeling about this.
Well, come on. Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Would you get going, you pirate?
Get in there, you big furry oaf! I don't care what you smell!
I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
If what you've told me is true, you will have gained my trust.
I like the sound of that.
Get a shuttle ready.
I don't know. Fly casual.
Shuttle Tydirum, what is your cargo and destination?
Transmission commencing.
Hey everybody, thanks again for tuning in to another exciting episode of the Shuttle Tydirum podcast, where we are the mothership of casual X-Wing. We make the mistakes so you don't have to. I'm your host, Captain Jim Chadwick, also known as Hey Chadwick on the forums, among other names we can't mention in public. I do have sitting next to me here, Phil, my co-pilot. How's it going, Phil?
I'm doing fine. We're going to be a little slow off the landing pad here because about half the Ewok crew didn't show up to work on time. As you probably know already, it was Galaxy Daylight Savings Time changeover yesterday, so we skipped ahead an hour, and those Ewoks, they're just not that bright.
Yeah, they're on Ewok Standard Time.
They're on Ewok Standard Time. They have trouble,
doing anything, really.
Yeah, they have trouble adapting to Galaxy Standard Time.
Right. And so we've got, ever since the Clone Wars, we ended up having daylight savings times to help the war effort, and they've just never changed it back since the Clone Wars. And personally, I'm just happy to do without it, but everything's all based on the Clone Wars.
It's defined so much. Yeah.
I know. All right.
That's why we have weak beer now, too? Is that what we were just discussing?
Yes, that's actually why we have weak beer. But anyways, we do have our cranky protocol droid, J-Bot. How you doing, J-Bot?
Well, I'll be doing better once I find a new cabin crew for the ship. But Phil says they're not bright, but man, they sure do make a lot of light when you put a little small flame to them. So maybe he's not. Maybe his definition of bright, and my definition of bright is completely different. They go up like flash paper.
Is that fur? It's so oily. You wouldn't think, but
We also have our new chief engineer. I'm sorry.
What? They don't shower very much. That's what do you expect?
Trust
if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense.
Thing. Yeah. So if you do smell burning hair, then I can't help you with that.
I tried to get off you.
What do you think all those torches were made out of in the Ewok villages?
Yeah. It's such.
They don't have like a torch factory somewhere.
It's like recycling, really, is what it boils down to.
Grab a stick, rub it on the Ewok in front of you, and light it.
Oh, I'd be better prepared if you actually told me these jokes ahead of time. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. We also have Biff, our chief engineer here, new latest crew member. How you doing, Biff?
I'm doing great. Had to go to bed a little bit early last night. Couldn't hang out around the coolant tanks with the other engineers, but we're doing good. And yeah, to that point, the Ewoks are definitely good to have around because I've been kind of using them to repack the bearings with some grease and stuff that they kind of leave laying around all over the place.
Yeah, it does help. And I'm sure J-Bot's got a tub of it, So make sure to, it might not be on the manifest, but make sure to double check with our HR officer to see if he's got any spare fat laying around or grease.
If not, I'm sure I can find a way to acquire some at a short notice.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
All right. So, I do have a captain's question, which comes up with the latest news article that kind of made me think of it. But what is your favorite scum ship? And so, let's see who'd ask first. I think I'll go to Biff today.
Put the pressure on. So,
that's right.
So that's the faction that I probably have the least experience with flying. I'm even struggling right now to remember what was the last one that I flew, but it was probably a Z95. But so I think off of like the one that I would choose is pretty much just going to be visual, and it even took me a minute to actually get to its official name. But the Mist Hunter is the way that I think of it. So the G1A Starfighter.
I just call it Mist Hunter.
To me, it's just visually, it's just big. It's tanky. I just kind of like the look of it.
It hunts,
especially with those little. Yeah, it hunts in the mist, lurks there in the shadows.
Yeah.
And who's in the like canon and so forth? Whose ship is that?
Zuckus and Forlom.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy cop, bounty hunter.
Yeah,
team.
Good bounty hunter, bad bounty hunter.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be mine, just for visual purposes alone.
You can understand them; those guys are hysterical. The cracking jokes. Yeah, a buddy cop movie. Those are those guys. All right, so you like the Mist Hunter purely for aesthetic reasons.
Yes.
Not even knowing who flies it, but cool. All right.
Doesn't take much.
Now we'll go to Phil.
Okay, so I like the Aggressor.
IG-88.
Yeah, otherwise known as IG-88 or IG-2000, which is the actual ship name. So IG-2000 is actually 4 ships that were given to the assassin droids IG-88s, A through D. But the ship chassis is actually a just like sort of a normal starfighter, which other people in the galaxy flew.
Oh.
I don't know how common it was or whatever, but it was like a mass-produced starfighter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I like to think of it. More that than rather than like the IG-88s and the IG-2000. And I've used it sort of in that capacity a few times in my PvP campaign that I'm working on. In that campaign system, you can get the aggressor and just put like a normal pilot in it rather than like a assassin droid IG-88.
Oh, okay. I did find something funny. We've got Alexa, and some of my son's kids were around, and we were asking it weird questions. Alexa, who's your favorite Star Wars character? And she says, IG-88. I think he's dreamy.
It's a little creepy. That's like, what's your favorite character from the Terminator franchise?
Right.
I like Skynet.
As long as it knows ahead of time, I guess that's a good thing, right?
Oh, when I started my new job lately, they had an agile board set up, and it was for Skynet project. And they had all these tasks to do, to actually get Skynet online. It was pretty funny. Yeah, but all right. So you like the
I think it's it's a cool fighter. I think just the ship design is cool. On the board, it flies cool. I mean, I kind of have some distaste for robots, just for because it's a competitive build, I guess, and that's how my brain works. That I don't like those, but I think the ship itself is cool, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
So thematically, is the A through D something that Fantasy Flight came up with, or were there really 4 of them, or what?
That's all from old bounty hunter novellas and books.
Yeah, it was like a soap
bounty hunter
opera.
stories. Yeah, basically, there's 4 droids, and they each, I think they each get destroyed in different ways, but they're, the story is that they take over this planet, which is like a droid producing planet. Like they kill their masters. Sort of typical droid uprising story.
They steal each other's girlfriends. It's pretty crazy.
Right.
One of them,
like telenovela. Like this almost writes itself. There's evil twin after evil twin. Like it's like,
yeah,
this is great.
And then they kill their creator, but is he really dead? Does he come back? It's this whole, people wonder why they made everything Legends.
Yeah. if you go all the way, you follow the story all the way. One of them actually installs themselves in the supercomputer of the Death Star, the second Death Star, and he's actually controlling everything, and just allowing the Imperials to think that they're in control. But it gets destroyed when the rebels destroy it.
Wow.
Yeah, good thing.
Wow. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
All right. So then, J-Bot, what about you? What's your favorite scum ship?
I could totally cheat here and just say, "Oh, I like the Hawk," and just go with that and say, "How did anyone not know?" But I actually I love the Hawk, and it's still my favorite ship. But just for the purpose of this, I love the Karaz for probably the same reason that Biff likes his, just for looks, aesthetics alone. I was talking with somebody at the game store the other night, and I'm starting to hit on, I think, why it is I love certain ships. The Hawk reminds me, and Biff, you're an aerospace guy, so maybe this will all make more sense to you. The Hawk reminds me a lot of the A-10, like the Warthog from, I guess, I don't know if it's still current in the thing. It has the same feel and look to it, just minus the wings. So I'm thinking that's why, because I've always loved the A-10. And the Karaz, for some weird reason, reminds me of an SR-71, because it's got the wings are way in the back. They're not swept forward like the Karaz is, but it's got this long neck up to the cockpit, which is what the Karaz has. And it also feels more like a modern fighter, at least the way it looks and kind of its stance and everything feels like more of a modern, realistic fighter, as opposed to some of the weird and wonky designs in the Star Wars universe. So I like it purely for aesthetics. I've tried to fly it and haven't been very good with it, and I can't really explain why. I just know that for some reason I can't fly it very well. But in general, that's the one that I like the most.
I've been watching the Star Trek Next Generation with my son, and it makes me think of it. Just looking at it lately, it makes me think of a Klingon ship.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it certainly has a bird of prey sort of look to it.
Cool. Just you talking about the Hawks. I know we'll touch on it maybe a little later. We're at the Crate Cup. There's some Raleigh Durham guys of a new podcast that are very tournament goers, and they had this North Carolina championship, which turned into a kind of Southeast kind of mini regional with team events. And some people from Atlanta came up, and they had, what were they? The Atlanta Hawks was their team name, and I don't know anything about basketball, and I didn't catch the reference. And they had this logo that I've been looking at it all day, and I finally saw that it was a hawk cockpit kind of sticking up, and apparently it's like the basketball logo. But what I saw was a Pac-Man with a buck tooth, because it was just kind of a Pac-Man in the window.
Just a yellow circle,
yeah, yellow circle with this big buck tooth, and like that's what I saw all day long. And finally, like I actually looked and saw the hawk cockpit. I had to like defocus my eyes and stare at it for a while. But it just drove me crazy until I finally saw it.
Once you see the bucktooth Pac-Man, you can't unsee it.
Right.
That's the great thing.
And I mentioned to everybody around me, like, what are you talking about? The cockpit. And then I said the bucktooth Pac-Man. They're like, oh my God, now I can't stop seeing it. And everybody at the table was like, oh my God. All right. So my favorite ship, I have a few, and it's, the Crax is one of my top 3. And probably with today's article, I'll probably say the Scyk. I like the Scyk. The M3A Interceptor. It's so got such a bad bad reputation, and I've flown them to like good effect, and I've had fun with them. I like them. I really like them, even just vanilla ones, not heavy ones, just out there because they're like a TIE fighter, but they have target lock, which is actually kind of important. And they've got the first hit as a shield, and as long as you aren't playing tournaments where people are rolling 8 dice at you, you don't evaporate every time if you roll okay.
Yeah.
And so with today's article, I got so excited about the news about the Scyk. So that's cool. But I also love the Star Viper. I flew Shizor at regionals and almost made the top cut. My dice hadn't cut out on me, but I like the Star Viper. That's another one that's people, it's a terrible ship, blah, blah, blah. But I've done really well with it. So, yeah. So those are my probably top 2 scum ships I like.
Cool.
Yeah. So we went to this tournament yesterday. They asked us to do some side events. So we did some Mario Kart, then did some Hunger Games, and hung out and saw fun, and totally made me think of J-Bot's one of his early when his restraining bolt fell off. But oh my gosh, I saw this one plumber's crack that was so bad I almost took a picture of it. It was like 6 to 8 inches of plumber's crack. I was like, I can't stop looking. It's like a tree.
More out than in, I think is what you're saying, Jim.
Really? Is that really? Yes, that's a plumber's crack. I was feeling compelled to take a picture and share it because it's so ridiculous. But but I did not. So I won't post that to Facebook.
When you do that, you need to somehow position like a little X-wing model in the right place so that can be running down the trench.
Trench. We can start going down that line of thought. I'm just going to stop it right there. I will say that we were running the Mario Kart. We were told that each team was going to have alternates, but it turns out there was only a few that actually brought alternates, and we were hurting to get like a second game running because we didn't want to squish them all on one table. And there were some Magic players who had kind of come in not knowing what was going on, and I'd seen at least one of them there all the time. And we grabbed like, hey, you guys want to play Mario Kart X-Wing? The guy was like, I've never played before. It's like, that's okay, you can join. I don't own anything. That's okay. And they were on the Z95 table, and it got close to the very end. There was 3 of them, 2 experienced Magic players or 2 experienced X-Wing players and one of the Magic players. And they were all worried about getting too far ahead because then they'll get in the firing arc on the last turn. Because I think one guy had like a mushroom boost, but they didn't want to use it to get, totally get right in the front and get shot down. And so they were all trying to be clever at the very end. And this guy ended up just kind of gunning it, and he crossed the finish line by like 2 millimeters, and everybody else kind of came in and bumped him from behind. And one guy was able to get a shot in, and he shot and got like 2 hits, and would have killed him. The guy ended up rolling to evade, and he survived and made it across the finish line. And they actually had trophies. So this guy won a Mario Kart trophy for his first time ever playing X-Wing.
That's great.
I just have to say it was pretty fun. That
I had to retire undefeated now.
Yeah. I had to explain the rules. Like, this is a template. This is a dial. Like, I had to explain it all to him right before we started the race. It was pretty funny. But it was good. Good times. All right. That and just a short note, we were looking around at how serious and people were and getting upset at games, and there were not a lot of happy faces, it looked like, playing at points of time during the day. We were in the back corner, kind of at the kids' table, and just laughing, thinking like, man, these guys, why do they do this? They don't look like they're having much fun.
There were a few people that were alternates that were sitting at our tables, and by the end of it, they're like, man, I am so glad I'm back here and not up there with all the rest of those people. they were, man, they're too serious. Like, one of the guys kept coming by and trading dice with his son, like, oh, these are horrible, and he'd come back and take his son's dice and go back to his table. I'm like, this is too much. So there was some heated arguments at one point. It was interesting as a casual player to look to the front and see, what I could have been, what we could have become if we had gone down the wrong path in our earlier lives. But
the wrong path.
Right, yeah, the wrong path. Or, like Jim got off that path. So he got dragged away from it. I asked him at one point, don't you miss all this, Jim? Like, don't you miss all of this, this, competition and the cutthroat nature of it? He's like, no, of course not.
Oh, yeah. Heck no. I will say that Birdo from the Sling Paint, they had a bunch of the 2-inch size templates or tokens that they made for the Epic tournament. Like, there was a zip, like one of those big freezer Ziploc bags filled of these giant tokens that they made, because normally they make these small little tokens, and it had like energy tokens and target locks, because Jason, the Type Punisher Jason, has some of those because he won tournament champion.
Tournament guy Jason, we allow to play in a little.
We let him play with us
every
casual.
once in a while.
And he gave me this Ziploc bag full of them. I'm going to take pictures, like a giant Focus, a giant Evade. Oh, I love them. I love them. They're absolutely ridiculous. And I would be posting pictures of them, and you'll see in various games and stuff that I play and post pictures that you'll be able to see, and hopefully YouTube videos.
I almost want to run my Hawks again, just so I could have a giant stack of giant Focus tokens following my ship around.
Oh, this represents 20. Boop. It's like stress. If I had a giant stress marker, for before the Zuckus FAQ, when you've got people that are
That's right,
super stressed. So this one just represents 20. Boop.
Yeah, those tokens are actually, Jason says that you always have this happen. People start moving around. You forget to move your target locks around. He's like, nobody forgets to move my target lock because it's bigger than the ship.
Even the large base.
They're almost the same size, like in diameter, as like a large base. So
but they're a little bigger.
Wow.
Yeah, they're big. Wow. Yeah. I love it. I'm so excited.
They'll certainly show up on the YouTube thing. If we end up getting the camera thing, they'll show up. Like, you'll know exactly what somebody's carrying as they drag around the map.
Yeah, so I got the camera. I just gotta. I don't have a stand yet for it. I borrowed my neighbor's, and we tried to record a Mario Kart game of the day, and I figured out, turning it so you control it with your with an app in your phone a lot to see it and everything. So I was looking through it and making sure it worked, but I actually forgot to hit record.
Yeah, that's a great job. The funniest thing is, Jim, when we go in there, if you do it again, if you use the same stand, I'm going to record with my phone so everybody understands how humorous it is, because he's got a phone that's like half the size of your standard sticky note, like your square kind of little
tiny
sticky note. It's about the size, like 3/4 of that is how big his camera is. The stand that this thing was on was like the actual legs on each one were like 2-inch diameter legs. It's just gigantic thing. So the little bracket that you screw the camera onto is like 3 times the size of the camera itself. People wondering about, what's that tripod back there for? And they can't even see the camera on it for all the tripod that there is. So
right. Well, my wife used to have a tripod, and I was going to use hers, but when the camera came and we couldn't actually find her tripod, I was like, I really want to record a game to test it out. And I hit my neighbor up, who's a semi-professional wedding photographer, and so he busted out this big old, here, you can use this. I'm like, awesome. But my tiny camera on it was a little hysterical. But once I can actually get it going where I'll actually hit the record button, I can't wait to actually put up things. So hopefully, I think maybe this next week we're going to do the Type Punisher mission and put up on YouTube, make it all look good like I did with the old 40K stuff. So that should be fun.
That'd be great to see. Yeah.
Yeah. So should we go ahead and get into our news item of the week? I always have the week, but the latest FFG news. Today, breaking news. Actually, by the time people read this or hear this, it won't be breaking. So
today, 3 weeks old news.
Right. We're basically becoming the newspaper of the X-Wing news scene. So we throw yesterday's news into your bushes.
That's pretty funny. All right, so we'll go over. We've got 2 news items today, and the first one is bringing balance to the Force. A new X-Wing FAQ is now available. Now, we'll not go in full depth with this, just because most people have probably heard about it at this point. But we are more of the casual, and there could be people out there who go, "Oh, a new FAQ! I didn't know. What's an FAQ? What? They've changed the rules of the game?" Right. Yes, they have. And there's basically, they did a whole news article on it. 4 main main things they changed, and it mostly affects tournament players and the meta and all that, because it's meant to change tournament meta.
This is a balancing FAQ.
Balancing FAQ. It doesn't. I don't think affect too many people that are not in the tournament scene, but.
Yeah, it's not a hammer to the casual scene unless your casual people are all running the same lists as the tournament folk.
What would be a hammer to the casual scene? I don't know.
Yeah,
it would take a lot. It'd have to be a really big hammer.
No X-wings.
Right? Yeah, no X-wings. No bigs. You can't take bigs. What? But that ruins every one of my missions.
No, they're gonna mix in Star Trek.
Now introducing Star Trek to the game.
Yeah, all casual play.
Babylon 5 into X-wing.
Yeah, it's just a giant dictatorial command that says that you can never play anything but 106. Like there is no way to play our game without that.
Oh no, I bet you could get some casual people upset when they introduce the Clone Wars stuff, episode, the prequel stuff. They can now fight with the First Order. The Starfighter is fighting.
People from all scenes are going to be upset. Some people from all scenes are going to be.
Yeah, we always get somebody butt hurt at some point.
This bright yellow ship with a little kid driving it. I don't want it on my table.
That would.
Spinning is not a good trick.
Yeah, you can't put pod racers in space. What's wrong with you people?
Right. You've heard there's some joke card going around with Anakin Skywalker, the little kid Annie, and it's like spend an action, destroyed local, nearest space station. This is fun too. All right, but I'll go ahead, since we have our man prepared for all this. I'll go to our chief engineer, Biff. Tell us about Manaroo.
Manaroo. So Manaroo is kind of getting a reword on in his card in order to rebalance him.
Her. So wait.
Yeah, that's right.
We need to jump to Phil for a quick background check on Manaroo.
Manaroo's gender is female.
And
so is it really Woe Manaroo?
She's Dengar's wife.
Yeah.
I guess everybody missed that one.
Wow. Woe Manaroo. No, I like it. Woe Manaroo.
I feel like they did that on purpose just to screw up us people who don't read the background.
Mess with you.
All right, so Dengar's wife, which is why Dengaroo was a thing. They were like the power couple.
They could make a movie out of that.
Or at least E-Weekly, E-Entertainment. Yes. Go on, tell us more about Manaroo.
So the card text is being rewritten. The card text will now read, at the start of the combat phase, you may assign all focus, evade, and target lock tokens assigned to you to another friendly ship at range 1. And the change being that we've now got a range limitation on this ability. Yep. It used to be an unlimited range, but now it is constrained to have to be at range 1. So it really takes a lot of the... Yeah, that's the big heavy hitter. I tend to think listening to, or not listening, but reading things on the forums and so forth. It's lists are being shattered, if you will. Because
Dengaroo had Manaroo hiding in the corner, giving all the tokens to a stressed out Dengar, who could just stress. And Dengar alone would just destroy your whole list, and Manaroo would just hide.
I feel like we discussed this at one point, but there's so many of the newer cards. I shouldn't say so many. It's not like there's hundreds of them coming out, but it feels like a lot of the changes that took place in this FAQ came about as a result of not having range requirements on newer ships and newer cards. And it just feels, I know it's messed up with all these crazy people's meta, but it feels normal to me in an X-Wing world to have a range requirement on anybody's ability. And so anytime I see a card, and I know we're going to get to it, but like when I first saw the Palpatine card come out, I'm like, where's the range requirement on this thing? Anytime I see a lack of a range requirement on anything FFG puts out for X-Wing, like, I feel like there's just there's an opportunity here for somebody to figure out a killer combo because there's no range restriction to force the ship into combat. if that makes sense. Like if you don't force one of the ships into combat, then it can become a true support ship that stays outside of the fight for as much as it can. And, so that's what worries me. So when I saw them make this change, I was like, oh, make perfect sense. They finally gave it the range requirement they forgot to put on it when they first made the card.
Yeah, we have talked about it, and we have said, they should have a range requirement. Though most people think range 1 is a little harsh. I was even just listening to one of the other podcasts were saying, well, it does get barrel roll. It is one of like the most maneuverable ships you can have. So, it is probably a little bit harsh, but at the same time, it's not just utterly killing the ship. But then again, the tournament people, of course, are saying it's killing her ever being used in a tournament. But I'm almost like if it's not broke, don't fly it mantra is, oh gosh, things aren't horribly broken anymore. It's only slightly broken.
Yeah. But like with most of this stuff, I don't see it affecting the casual side very much at all. Unless there's something I'm completely missing, I don't really see this affecting it.
Yeah, this one was definitely in my don't care column.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, completely. We add that to the don't care checklist.
Yeah. More disappointed that. Well, yeah, it's more in that disappointed in that my physical card is kind of worthless, but I'll deal with it with my proxies, in a matter of a few weeks when all those squad building applications get caught up with the text.
Yeah. Well, you can always print out from the graphic from the FFG site and then just kind of slip it in your, if you got a card sleeve, slip it in your card sleeve over the other card.
That just gave me an idea to go overkill and actually print it on like a transparency, and just the section with the updated text now overwrites the card.
That's something only an engineer would do. Meanwhile, crayons.
Yes.
Glue. That's what our captain's doing over on the other table.
That would require spending money on a whole transparent paper. That costs too much.
That's right. We're setting up everything for Mario Kart at the Crate Cup, and he's over there with Elmer's glue, construction paper, scissors. People are like, what is he doing over there? Oh, just getting ready for the tournament.
Like heavy cardstock, free.
Right. Yes. So that's that. I could see, Biff shows up. Oh man, when did they put out new cards and everything? Those look amazing. And Jim's over there with his hacked together, like not even a rectangular shaped card that he's stuck packing tape around so that it looks like it's shiny like the rest of his cards.
I still make it look good. I like my paper turrets. I do a lot of my stuff's still pretty neat. Might not be as super fancy as Snazzy Biff, but it works. And it's better than your turrets there, J-Bot.
What? My turrets were 3D printed. They're amazing.
Oh, actually, you do have some now.
That's right. Just making fun of my turrets.
I was thinking you don't have turrets.
Yeah, I had people at the Great Cup saying, "Oh, those are neat. Where did you get those from?" I was like, "Well, special. I have my sources." Meanwhile, your paper turrets kept getting knocked over and bumped all over the table, dropping on the floor.
All right. We can move on. Emperor Palpatine. So, Phil, do you want to do this one? Or J-Bot,
sure.
You want to do this one?
Whatever.
I don't have the rule right in front of me, but let's just Emperor Palpatine, no longer worth anything in the tournament scene. Rah, 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 rah. Rage.
Just like when he was dead at the rival because he was 2 minute points and no one would ever use him.
Did I do that right? Because that's basically what everybody was talking about yesterday. I don't have the rule right in front of me, though.
So it reads, once per round before a friendly ship rolls dice, you may name a die result. After rolling, you must change one of its die results to the named result. That die result cannot be modified again. So in the change here is that before, you could just roll some dice and then say, oh, this roll was bad or whatever, or say, like I need an evade result here, and turn one of those dice to an evade result. Now you have to sort of guess beforehand what you're going to need.
Right. The way I see it, I would phrase it more like, oh, I've got my Stealth Center Fell or my Super X7 with a bunch of tokens, and I roll evade, I roll evade, I roll evade. Oh, my dice crapped out at one time. Oh gosh, yeah, I'll pop that. It's okay. haha, you just wasted, entire round of shooting him with your heaviest weapons and completely didn't touch me at all.
Right. It's much less of a, insurance against bad dice rolling now. It still helps a lot, but, it's not going to jump in exactly when you need it all the time.
Right. And the thing for me is there were so many people complaining, and they're coming at it from a tournament aspect. I was coming at it from a different angle, and I'm not going to gloat. I told Jim I was going to gloat, but I remember when they first made a small change, I came on there and said, they've set precedent for changing cards now. And it's not so much a slippery slope, but it's a power that they're starting to realize, oh my God, we can make wholesale changes to cards. Yeah. And it didn't take long from that previous small change to this one. This isn't a couple rewords or a couple additional words like with the previous card. This is a wholesale rewriting of almost every word on the card and changing completely how this thing works. It still is the same rough effect, but it's completely different than how the old one worked. Yeah, and for me, I mentioned it a while back. I'm glad that they're doing this because it allows them to make wholesale changes to fix obviously broken things, or at least very, very seemingly obvious broken things. At the same time, I think this also has its own usability. Now, I'm not a tournament guy, so this probably doesn't work in tournaments and stuff. But say I put this on Kylo Ren on the Upsilon shuttle. So say I put
Batwing.
Yeah, the Batwing. So say I put Palp on that, right? Kylo's crazy, I'll show you the dark side, only happens if you get a crit, correct? So I can still use that because I can guarantee a crit every time I fire with Palp. I can say I'm going to roll a crit with my attack, and I can still use that. I don't have to roll, see if I hit and see if I get a crit, which is fine, but I can guarantee every time I fire with him that I can get a crit with it. So I don't see it as horrible as it was.
Well, and there's people like Wampa. Well, you get a crit, it doesn't matter about their green dice. You just give them a face-up damage card, Yeah, there's all sorts of little things. It's still useful to me. I don't think it's cutting it off at the knees, which is what I heard from so many other people. So it still is perfect for defense. Nothing's really changed on the offensive ability. Well, other than you might have gotten a critical hit for free, but like the article
you might
says,
save it.
The article says that it's reducing things that you need to have risk reward. That there's reward for all these cards before the FAQ, but then there's no risk. Like Palpatine, he's just like your insurance there until you manage to get a bad die roll. Now you can use them. Now you actually decide what's the most important is strategic and such. And I don't know. I've also heard some people say
you have to make an interesting decision every time you decide to use Palpatine, whereas before you could save him for exactly when you needed him.
Right. I've heard even a tournament person say that now you actually still have to actually be a good player and decide when to use him as opposed to just using him as a crutch.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and it was funny while we were there. I know we're talking a lot about tournament stuff, but it's the first time I've actually been in a tournament in a long time, not in one, but just seeing it from the outside. There was quite a few people mingling and talking about the FAQ because they weren't using the new rules yet in this local one. I guess they don't want to take effect until some special date, but whatever. They're like, man, we're going to have to learn to fly. I've heard that said 2 or 3 times. I'm going to have to learn to actually be a better pilot, learn to fly my ships better if I want to take advantage of some of the new changes. So I thought that was so funny. And I was like, yes, they're bringing back pilots. So
Right. But we'll go ahead and move on.
One thing from my standpoint, there's 2 changes in this FAQ that I think are very, very thematic, and to me play more to the casual side when I start thinking about which pilots I might want to try to put into a scenario or a particular mission. I'm playing off that risk reward that we were just touching on. The old Palpatine to me was just, from a thematic standpoint, not very representative of the way that I would appreciate that particular character. I just don't think that he would be that absolutely powerful, as in omnipotent in being able to just at a moment's notice, change anything that's going on in the battlefield, if you will, or battle space. I find this, because of the risk reward now, it represents more of the Emperor having to kind of be aware of what's going on. Yeah, be able to foresee and then like focus on that particular event and be invested in it as it's playing out, because you have to make your decision before as opposed to after. So I just think that it plays better to a casual thematic setting with this update.
Yeah, he totally didn't see, he was overconfident and didn't see Vader throwing him down a shaft. Some lucky die roll, got through and he didn't expect it, and
change it on the way down.
In the exhaust shafts or whatever the heck he got thrown down. I hate that card when I get that one.
Right. So Vader made his will save on a lucky die roll and broke free of Emperor's control. And in the
he should have known ahead of time. He should have known ahead of time that a bottomless pit was a bad aesthetic choice. They didn't have to have a bottomless pit in his chambers.
Well, he'd use his ability on the turned Luke to the dark side roll, and didn't save it. FAQ, he could have saved it, knowing that Vader was going to attack him, but he had to commit it now, and he committed it on Luke. On the seduced,
he committed to
side.
attack instead of defense. Oh man,
that's exactly.
I think he just should have had a better interior decorator.
There's that too. At least put a grate or something over that thing.
Yeah.
Plexiglass or something.
Yeah.
All right. So for lightly touching on, we're taking too long. And we're actually gonna, finish within an hour. Okay. So the X7 title.
Just have to stop now then.
The X7 title. I'll go ahead and do this one. So now it used to be you did a 3, 4, 5 move and you got a free evade token just handed to you. Stressed, bumped, didn't matter. Now it's a free action, which means you only get it if you, and it also says if you don't bump. If you bump or land on an obstacle, you don't get it. Which even Night Beast, if he bumps, he still gets it. But Night Beast is now better than X7. But so if you bump or land on something, you don't get it. And if you're stressed, you don't get a free action.
Yeah, because you can't take a free action. Yeah.
So, and people are like, well, there's some people who are just like, this is preposterous. The X7 was not broken. There was no reason to do this. Like,
no. If it was being used, it was broken, essentially.
Right, yeah, we've already defined that as the definition of broken. If it's being used, it's broken.
Right.
I'm okay with this. I don't have the level of vengeance or hatred that Jim does for Phantoms, but Defenders just bug me so much because I never really considered them to be a massively broken ship, and then they got a lot of help with these crazy upgrade cards that they have.
Yeah,
dialing one of those back in makes me feel a little bit better, a little warm and fuzzy to see that one pulled back in, and that makes sense. It makes sense to have that sort of rule change.
Yeah, it's not a devastating change. I think. I mean, it's still. I think you're still most of the time going to get this extra action.
Right. Yeah.
You have to actually have to fly good.
There's just some vulnerabilities there.
Yeah.
As a weird aside, we actually had somebody running a Defender in one of our Mario Kart races, and he, because of the old rule, was able to get his evade all the time, even if he's hitting walls and getting stressed and stuff afterwards, which of course bugged me, just as not a fan of the Defenders and that crazy title. Under the new rules, he wouldn't. Like, you hammer a wall in Mario Kart with your Defender, you're not getting your free evade, so you're going to get shot up by the turrets or whatever happened to be there. So perfectly okay with this. Saw no problem at all for it.
I love the thematics on this one because I think it's a lot more realistic. Why should you be able to end your maneuver, let's say like on an asteroid, and get an evade action? Or I'm not an evade token. Why? Doesn't make any sense. So I like this.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me.
And speaking of perfect sense, the Zuckuss change. The last card is a change to Zuckuss, which even hearing this, I don't think I heard a single person complain about this change. I heard even a Zuckuss player. As a Zuckuss player, I will miss it, but it makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it's
Right,
pretty well accepted. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the only people complaining are the people who rely on it in other settings than ours.
And even then, they're not.
I
don't
didn't
hear that
yeah,
much.
I did not even.
No,
hear
I didn't hear anybody
on the forums where there was the most ridiculous, bombastic discussion about it.
On the forums, there was bombastic discussion.
Bombastic anything?
I know.
It's so unlike the forums. I don't get it.
I had to even call one person. I was like, "And you win the bombastic award for the most bombastic comment in the FAQ thread."
Like dead to me now.
Central is what the forums are. So
yeah. So Zacchaeus, it used to be you gain a stress. So you shoot at someone, they roll a bunch of green dice. If you can make them re-roll those green dice, but you gain a stress for each green die that you make them re-roll. No requirement turning. 1 point card, crew card. So you have someone like Dangar who just keeps gaining and gaining and gaining stress. He
gets like
stress markers.
20, 50 tokens, stress tokens.
Right. So then Manabru's still out there on the other side of the board, giving out all the free stuff. So that was kind of crummy. And now it's basically, if you were stressed, you can't do his special ability. Which means all you do is take, say, Inspiring Recruit. Oh, you can only make them reroll 2 green dice, or maybe more. Then you can't do it exactly the next turn. Then you have to do a green maneuver and remove those 2, those 2 stress. So,
yeah, the thing I like about this, and I'm sure everybody here is thinking the same thing, is this doesn't affect Epic in any way. Like I can still put him on my C-Roc and it doesn't change anything. As soon as I read that, I'm like, so what's the problem? Like I can still throw him on my C-Roc, right? And I was reading through, like, yep, could still put him on there and not have to worry about a thing. Use him the old way.
I still want to see a C-Roc with a single turbo laser firing at Stealth Suntir Fel, because that will double his dice. What is it? Stealth Suntir Fel gets 4 dice. Double it to 8. I just want to Zuckus him, just to shoot him at long range.
Zuckus and Forlom. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it essentially costs you 1 energy to prevent him from using any focus tokens or evade, of your choice. You know what I'm saying? Because the Forlom,
It's like, Zuntir rolls 8 dice. Oh, you got 5 of 8? Okay, reroll those 5.
Oh, by the way, you can't use your focuses either.
Epic. That's where it all comes together.
Zuckus was the one I was the most fired up about when I was reviewing all this stuff, simply because the change makes Zuckus really prime for use in Epic for all of what you just said. So to me, it becomes that differentiator. We've got a card that's really tailor-made to the Epic and casual play. Sure, you can still utilize it on the small ships, tournament type thing, but to me, it becomes the differentiator and really makes running Epic a lot more enjoyable. Now, if he wasn't scum only, it'd be really rocking. But hey, we can change the rules too, right?
Single ship.
That's right. Yeah, we can adjust the rules.
Yeah.
He's a bounty hunter. We hire him.
Yeah, it's good Zuckus. He's just a mercenary working for us for today.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So that's the FAQ, bringing balance to the tournament scene.
There's one. Can I put in one more comment on the FAQ that I thought was actually hilarious, if I could?
Sure.
Slow thing. They nerfed the term immediately.
I did not see that change. Explain, please.
So let me bring up the exact text. Bear with me just a second. But
essentially, I think it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, here we go. Immediately. Immediately is used as emphasis on some cards. It is purely reminder text and has no distinct game effect.
Feel free to ignore it.
We've adjusted the definition of immediately to eventually. So just
whatever.
Whenever you feel like it.
So now whenever I'm reading a card and it has the word immediately on it, I'm massaging the text in my mind to be something like, and we will remind you that you can go do this next thing, or whatever the case might be. I just think it's hilarious that they had to nerf the term immediately.
I can walk around
causing problems in their flow chart somewhere. That's the only thing I can imagine.
Yep.
I can walk around as a TO and say, this round will end immediately. By that, I mean in 15 minutes.
The text definition.
Or whenever I get back from lunch.
Right. Lunch begins immediately, as in after this round. So I didn't know they nerfed immediately. That's hysterical.
Yeah, there's probably lots of hidden gems in there that no one's complaining about on the forums, but maybe you should start a thread about it. Just, I can't believe they nerfed immediately. We need to discuss this immediately.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah, people were saying, because some people are saying only a small minority of people complaining on the FFG forums created this FAQ. I'm like, what rock are you living under? Or like,
the metagame created this FAQ.
Right, like everywhere I go, even the tournament people complain about the same things. Other podcasts have complained about it, even the tournament ones. So someone, as a joke, was saying, we need to fix Saboteur. That's the next one to test the power of the forums. And I was like, oh, you're wrong.
Okay, go for it.
You need to expose how that exposes with an expose. Yeah, I think expose needed to be.
All right. So, is there anything else we want to hit on for this FAQ?
No.
No, I think we're good.
Good.
I'm done.
Okay. Our light touch, probably.
Yeah.
Half
it is a light touch for us.
An hour later.
Yeah, actually, I think this time it was J-Bot who wanted to talk most about it. But, anyways,
I just like to gloat. I mean, we're slowly, they're changing. They're coming more into my form. Like, eventually, it'll just be here. J-Bot, rewrite some stuff for us, and we'll make giant cars to fit all the crazy rules that you come up with.
People on the Facebook page were like, J-Bot, it's just like you said.
Oh my gosh, the end times. The end is 9.
So, we can go ahead and talk about an article that I want to talk a lot about. Yes, I'm excited about this. Hit and Run, preview the M3A Interceptor Aces from the C-Roc Cruiser expansion pack. So, I'm pretty excited about it. It goes on about the legend of Tydirium Point Station and how they were attacked by Black Sun and these scum. Even though they're scum, they have their own heroic tales, and they did it. And the leader of... So in this, we get a bunch of upgrades and new pilot cards they review for the Scyk, which there's different attitudes and different ways. And I saw a video of the FFG game developers calling it a Scyk. So I'm going after they're in touch with LucasArts. I'm calling it Scyk. It's not a Scyk. So it's a Scyk. All right.
Scyk just rolls off the tongue, though.
Yeah.
M3A. It's the M3A. The name on the card is M3A Interceptor.
Yeah.
And
it's the official designation.
What's a Scyk?
And what is the other ship that everyone calls that? It's the Mist Hunter, because even Biff had to go look up.
Yeah.
G1A.
Yeah,
a lot of A's.
And the Outrider. Does people say the Outrider, or they say the YT 2400? Anyways, so the commander of Tydirium Point Station has a pilot card coming out now. And Phil, how do you pronounce it? Because I'm not even going to try.
In Aldra?
In Aldra.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, I think.
Yes. So it's a Pilot Skill 3, which some people said, hey, if you're commander, you don't really have to be necessarily the best pilot. You're just the commander. But Pilot Skill 3, 15 points, one more point than a PS2 regular Scyk, and with an EPT. So a lot of people, even with the ability, they're like, well, this ship's dead on arrival is one of the threads. Without any ability, it's got one pilot skill more and an EPT for only 15 points. Boom. What's not to love about it? Then there's the ability, when attacking or defending, you may spend one shield to reroll any number of your dice. So you burn your one shield and you reroll your dice.
Right. It's pretty interesting. It's a ability that may come very much in handy, or may not. I think it's risky because obviously you're spending a shield to reroll dice. You only got one shield to begin with, and you don't have that many shields in hull. You only get 3 total. So, it's sort of a risky ability. It pairs well with probably the next card we should talk about. But there's definitely situations where you would want to do this, right? Like, say you're getting attacked, someone rolls 3 hits on you. You say, oh, you're attacking me at range 3. I roll 4 dice. I'm behind an asteroid. I got this. You know, and you roll 5 blanks. You're like,
right? Or you've got your focus and your 3, agility, and you blank out, complete blank.
Yeah.
Blank, blank, blank.
Yeah. There's a number of situations which happen all the time.
Or if you've got
definitely want to do this,
a weapon upgrade from like the heavy Scyk title, and you need to kill someone that round, or you need to ionize them, or you need to do something, and you're ready, and because they're going to kill one of your main ships, or whatever it is, or for a mission, you've got to get it done, and you blank out. Well, boom, burn your shield and do it because it's worth it.
Yeah, there's definitely times when it will be worth it to burn that shield.
It's very situational. It's not the most amazing ability. It's not going to be used every game, but
you're not really paying anything for it.
Right. It's only 1 point more than a regular cheap old generic, and it's got an EPT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it sounds good. I think it's a good chip. And then there's the next, which is an upgrade we can talk about to use with her. So since it's an actual modification, I'll have Biff go ahead and tell us about it.
So we're talking about the pulsed ray shield?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, yeah. So it's a modification. It reads, during the end phase,
wait.
Receive
who
what?
Who can use it?
Oh, sorry. It's a Rebel and Scum, which and there's an additional limitation placed on it, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, a modification that's valid for Rebel and Scum only. During the end phase, you may receive 1 ion token to recover 1 shield up to your shield value. You can equip this card only if your shield value is 1. So that pretty much eliminates all of the Rebel ships with the exception of the Hawk. But on the Scum side, it's not quite half the fleet, but just about half the fleet. 2 ships in particular, you'd have to do the shield upgrade to get 1 shield? The Protectorate and the Quad?
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, so I suppose you wouldn't be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't double down.
But basically, you got the Scyk, the Carax, the Star Viper, and the Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. This is the fix for the Hawk.
Yeah, this is the fix. Woohoo! This is the one we've been waiting for. Oh my god.
No. But even if we just bounce back, to an Aldra, so you can spend you can burn your shield up, never to get it back. Oh, unless you've got this 2-point modification where you take an ion token for a round, you're going to do it at the end phase. So the end of the turn, you're going to say, you look around and say, you know what? I think I'm safe this round. I think everybody's facing the other direction, or I'm going to spend a round running behind this asteroid, and then I can do this, ionize for a turn, and get your shield back. Will you be able to do it all the time? You won't be able to do it every game. Some games maybe you can't get away. It's true. But here you have the option. You have the ability to actually regen shield.
And there's another sort of quirk to this card that might be good for Scyks. What was a maneuver that people were disappointed to not see on the Scyk dial?
The 1 straight.
The 1 straight. And what do you have to do if you have an ion token? It's the 1 straight.
Exactly.
This is a backdoor 1 straight for the Scyk dial. Now, given if you give yourself an ion token, you're obviously telegraphing that you're going to be doing a 1 straight next turn. But there are times when that might not be so bad.
Yeah, and complaints for the Carax can't do a 1 straight, and some people in the forums are like, "You'll never want to put this on a Carax because you'll always want to take vectored thrusters for the barrel roll." I'm like, really? I mean, do you always want to? I mean, here I'm thinking beyond the 106. There's if you've got a bunch of these in Epic Game or something, or one of them takes a hit, you'll be able to ionize to get the shield back, and you could do that how many times? A bunch of times every time you lose a shield, and that might be worth more than vectored thrusters.
Yeah, see, I think what some of the people are missing on this is that outside of the Hawk, most of the rest of those ships are already very agile. I know the Carax isn't; it's the same as the Hawk, but they have a 3 agility dice and they have speed to get away from a fight, so they can tear off across the board if they need to, just cut and run, take a turn to take the ionize when they're out of range of everything. regen the shield, and then come back on another run. The Hawk can't do that really well, but the Hawk has the benefit of I can take an ionize because I have a turret. I can take an ion, and I'm probably still going to have a shot on most things as if I had moved. So it does help. It is a benefit. I'd have to really do a little bit more research to see how this would seriously affect.
The Carax has not got a bad dial. It can go 4 straight. It can do a 1 bank
it doesn't.
and a 1 hard
I'm
turn.
just saying with the agility combined to it. So say I'm on a M3A. I already have 3 agility. If I tear off at full speed to get out of range, or at least to range 3, now I'm getting 4 on your primaries, but still 3 dice. I don't need to get behind an asteroid as badly as a Hawk or the Carax does. Whereas, and then regen. Those kind of need that little bit of extra boost, or they have to get completely out of combat. So that's the only reason I was saying that the really agile ships can benefit from this a little bit more than the less agile ones.
The value you get from a shield on a 3 agility ship is more than you get from a shield on a 2 or 1 agility ship.
And it was when I first started looking at it, I was very curious for why they put the Rebel and Scum only on there. The Rebel, it's like it's only on 1 ship that it could actually be fitted to. So I was like, I feel like so far it's like either they're going to open something up, they're going to bring something out.
Oh no, I can tell you why.
And maybe they are.
Royal Guard title.
Well, it's not just that; it's the TIE FOs. You can put this on every TIE FO,
or every TIE Interceptor.
Yes, suddenly
Sunter Fell can get shield regeneration.
Right.
How annoying would that be?
Yeah, we can't give it to the Empire because there's too many options on the Empire side to be very nasty with it. So that's. I was like, okay, so they want to give it to 2 factions that aren't going to be stupidly overpowered. It took me some thinking. I'm like, why did they give it to Rebels who can only have it on 1 ship? So then I was like, okay, wait a minute. The Empire's got a bunch of stuff that you certainly don't want to help out anymore.
It is interesting. This is a regen card that is not limited in the number of ships that you can put it on. That's very tricky thing to have in the game. It's not surprising that they have other limitations on who can take it and what it does to you.
Yeah. Though it's funny, one person was saying they were thinking of Inaldra, and they were saying the thing that gets me is you can choose when to use this. So they're like, oh, you could be an Inaldra, and you're going up to an X-wing into the face, and you get in, and you roll your attack die, and you miss, you burn your shield, and then you don't kill the X-wing, and then it shoots you and kills you because you only got 2 hull left. I'm like, well, yeah, that'd be really stupid, but why would you do that? Like, why would you purposely, use an Aldra's ability when it would be a bad time to use it?
But I think a lot of the M3As, like if you're playing a crazy blocking list, I don't know that it's that bad. You might already be in your right position. Oh, I just need that 1 forward to make sure I get in that perfect blocking position. Like, I'm going to take the Ion, even though I can't, it's not going to help me. I'm already at full shield. I can still take the Ion, right? And even though it's giving me a shield back, but it's still to my max of 1, and I could take it just to go the 1 forward, right? On the next, am I reading this right?
Yeah, I don't think it would limit you. I think you'd still take the token. You just may not get a shield. Because it's just limiting up to your shield value, so I don't see why you would be prohibited.
I wonder. That's a good question. If you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I read it the same way as I can use a focus token even if I don't have a focus result. But
exactly right.
But maybe it's not. But I could see it, assuming that rule that's allowable, as hey, I'm a blocking ship, but I really need to get to this 1 spot. I haven't been hurt, but I need to get there, knowing where he's going to be, or hey, say I'm using ion cannons on my interceptors, and I've got somebody ionized. All I need to do is get them bumped and in that perfect spot for next turn. Hey, look, I'm going to ionize myself to get me into that 1 perfect spot.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a fun card.
I've also heard people say, oh, there's no chance you'll actually be able to, like a Scyk, you'll never be able to use it because you'll just be one-shotted all the time. And I'm like, well, 3 green dice. if you roll decently, you're not going to be one-shotted. You just, even without the heavy Scyk title, let's just say you've got like a generic Scyk. Even the heavy Scyk title, bumps it up to 3 hull and 1 shield. Unless we're talking about, epic levels with Zuckuss and Fenrau and, tournament level attack dice here. It's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have blank out in your dice, but you could just, I don't think that you're going to be killed in one shot as quick as most often as people think. I mean, unless you're in a tournament scene.
I think one of the few things that I'm not completely happy with on it is the way Ion works and clears, just for this instance, because I love ion turrets and ion cannons and stuff. So say I ionize one of these guys. In order to have done it, I would have done 1 point of damage to him and burn his shield off. Oh, I'm already ionized. I'm just going to take another ion token, get that shield right back, and it's not going to change anything on the next turn. So it to me, it's a little bit of a, I know ion's not a big deal for tournament meta, but for my love of them in the casual scene, I'm like, oh man, that means there's going to be more ships out there that, I hit with an ion, but they just get their shield right back because of it, and they're still taking the ion portion of it, but they're not. The little bit of damage I get out of it is not helping.
If you get hit by an ion, we'll just might as well pulse ray shield it, and you're going to be ionized anyways. Get your shield back. So that's kind of neat.
Yep.
Now, another one which has been panned on the forums is the Arccaster cannon, a new cannon. And Phil, do you want to go ahead and tell us about that one?
Sure. So this is a cannon upgrade card. It's got 4 attack dice and range 1. It's a Rebel and Scum only card, and it's a dual card. It reads, attack 1 ship. If this attack hits, you must choose one other ship at range 1 of the defender to suffer 1 damage, then flip this card. And the other side reads, at the start of the combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip this card. So you can charge it up by forfeiting a shot.
Yeah.
And it's like a little chain lightning gun. Sort of looks like that in the card art.
Yeah, and it's like ruthlessness.
Right. It's got like a built-in ruthlessness.
So 4 attack dice. How much does it cost?
Oh yeah, the cost is only 2 points. It's
2 points.
Cheap. So it's an interesting upgrade card. It's really pretty good on the Scyk because you're going to get that extra dice for 2 points at range 1, and you get that ruthless ability. Of course, the downside is that you really want like another enemy ship to be at range 1 when you shoot this thing off.
That's the thing that worried me. I was like, it's not great as a single like kind of dogfight style weapon. Like if I'm in range 1, I got him. Oh, crap, I got myself too. Yeah. But I do like it as a not so much anti-swarm, but it can really affect people that are running swarms if you get them. Like, oh look, pop. I hit a couple of your super agile ships with just by grabbing one of them, I got 2 of them. So
yeah, I think it can be disruptive. People are going to be worried about keeping their ships far away from each other if you're running this thing in your list, and that may force them into suboptimal choices in maneuvering. Think about it.
Imagine like mission 1, political escort. You've got enemy's got a bunch of Z95s, and they're tossing evade tokens on the shuttle. Zap! You hit a Z95, boop, put a damage on the shuttle. Or you've got Suntir nearby.
Broken.
Or a tokened up Palpatine, whatever.
Crap.
X7, you can boop hit something else and hit it else. And people are like, oh, but you're going to damage yourself. I'm like, well, you know what? You don't have to use it.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna if you're going to hit yourself, don't fire it.
You can make that call.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a 4-die weapon, so it's got a pretty solid hammer shot. It's like, oh yeah, it really hits you. And it might be worth taking the 1 point of damage if you can put 2 or 3 onto whoever you're shooting at. Especially on the newer. If you combine this with a couple of the other cards we've already discussed, it's like, hey, it might be worth it to take that 1 damage and then waste a turn with an ionize to get my shield back that I just burnt away from my arc shot. So
exactly.
I think it's an interesting combo. They've come out with 3 cards right in a row that all really feel like they're working together, and I do like it. So
yeah. Or even let's say you have your generic Scyk, the PS2 guy, and you've got this, and there's Fen Rao in front of you. End of the turn, because you're the last guy shooting. Fen Rao is tokenless at this point, and at range 1. Oh, but you're going to hit yourself for 1 damage. Should you really light up Fen Rao with 4 red dice? Hell yeah, you should.
On a 15-point ship, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
14 points. So go ahead and take the damage to light up the preem target. It's well worth it. And I swear, I think something like putting on B-Wings is not a bad idea, because, okay, it's 2 points. If you get within range 1 and there's multiple enemy, you can use it. So if you fire your main guns at range 1 for a B-Wing, it's 4 dice. But this thing could potentially do damage to an enemy nearby. All right. Will you use it all the time? No, but you have the option to use it. Like, you can choose. And it's only 2 points. The Ruthless EPT is 3 points.
Right.
And you can't choose. You have to use it every time. This is 2 points. It only works range 1, but you can choose to use it or not. And there'll be plenty of times you will be like, yeah, it's totally worth it. And you'll do it. Zap, 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 zap. TIE Swarm or whatever. Boom, boom. Right. You're hitting more than one. I think it's great.
And it's a great way to bounce to high agile ships too, which is what I like.
Right. The beauty is, and I think this is maybe what you're getting at, is you could shoot this at a low agility ship and then splash the damage onto a high agility tokened up ship.
Right. So if for example, I know this is a bad thing, but one of the guys yesterday was talking about the whole Palpatine thing, that they like to fortress, right? Well, you can't fortress with a low agility ship against this and have your high agility guys anywhere close, because I'm going to hammer your low agility ship with 4 dice and then just splash the damage over onto your high agility crazy token guy, and there's nothing he can do about it. So I like this because it helps, and at least to a small degree, break up one of the worst things I hate about X-Wing, which is fortressing. So anybody that fortresses, hey, I'm just going to zoom in and hope that I can get as many shots with this that splash around as possible. So I think it's fun. I like it.
So many people in the forums hated this card and said it was utterly useless, and it was because you're just going to zap yourself. And I guess I'm thinking, if you're used to a tournament list will only have 2 or 3 ships in their list and in your list, all right, yeah, maybe then. But if you're not playing that way, this is a good card.
I think this will be fun on Hot AC because of all the clusters of stuff. I'm like, this looks like, I mean, you have to get to range 1, but man, look at the damage you can do to those clusters of squads in Hot AC when you start putting these onto ships. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so interesting. It makes me like, maybe I do want to take a B-Wing in Hot AC just to throw this on there for fun.
And I'm curious, is a different section of an epic ship considered a different ship? Could you hit like the front of a CR-90 and then splash damage to the rear?
Doesn't. We did that with the assault missiles. It doesn't. That way.
That's too bad.
Are there any scum ships that have both cannon and illicit?
The Aggressor.
Yeah, the Aggressor, IG-88.
Because I thought it'd be really fun to throw the Dead Man switch onto the ship that's also got this.
Yeah.
I'll take you down with me.
That's right.
Well, exactly. I like IG-88 can take it because IG-88 has actually 2 cannon slots.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This is a nice little backup cannon for IG-88.
Yeah. Oh, and the Fire Spray has it too.
Yeah, I was checking right now. The Fire Spray should have a scum's illicit slot on it too, I think.
But yes, people are saying, oh, well, IG-88 just roll 4 dice at range 1. Well, yeah, but you don't get the splash damage. You can spend 2 points for the option to do splash damage.
Right. It's the same way with the Fire Spray. It's about having options, and sometimes you do have a weird spare 2 points. At least in a casual list, you have a spare 2 points. You're trying to figure out what to do with it. And you're like, you know what? Let me just throw the cannon on there. I haven't filled the slot, and it might be useful. It might not be useful. You just, sometimes it might be the thing that you're like, I never realized it was going to win the game for me because I put it on the ship. So
yeah, even competitive lists can have those spare points rattling around.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So
I like that card. I think it's pretty cool. I like all the 3 so far that are mentioned.
And it's important to note that they actually included 5 of these in the set. In the C-Roc set.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah,
wow.
so they
thought
a lot of this card. This might be what they considered a fixed card for the Scyk.
Yeah.
Or they just knew that casual people might want to run a whole bunch of these in one shot.
So I think there's still one other fix in scare quotes card that we haven't seen yet. That there's 5 of in this set. I don't think we've seen what that is, because there's
that's good.
There's the Light Scyk, which there's 5 of. There's Arccaster, which is 5 of, and then there's this other one, which I don't recognize, which there's 5 of. So that there's still something else in this pack that fits the fixed card pattern.
Oh, I hope it's a medium Scyk, because that'd be so cool to have. Like
a medium Scyk, isn't that what the stock Scyk is?
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's not
the heavy medium.
Stock Scyk now.
It's overcosted. So they got to give something for the guys who don't want to go light, don't want to go heavy, but they still want to fly their Scyk. So give them a medium Scyk, and it maybe just reduces the points or gives them a bonus. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah. Okay, cool.
The next guy, I think, J-Bot, you were mentioning how this is your favorite name. I might need to enter protocol mode to have you announce his name.
I was just reading through the cards, and you almost can't help but say Genesis Red, like when it comes out. Like it's. I feel like with the Scum guys, they've thrown names into a generator, and just some guys got one over on the corner. Hey Bob, what's another name? Talonbane Cobra. Like it's like just what are these G.I. Joe characters we're throwing out here now? It's getting a little bit ridiculous.
No, I've always thought it was that for like.
There's one later that I was laughing at too.
Because I lived in the Raleigh area where the growth was so incredible for 20, 30 years, and new subdevelopments would be cranked out like you'd blink, and there'd be 10 new subdivisions in this area you hadn't been to, and they all have these names that we think there's like some sort of generator, like boop, 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 Quail, boop, 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 Hollow, boop, 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 Ridge, Hawk River, it's like neighborhoods. You're like, where the hell they get these names?
It probably is. Yeah, it's getting similar to how I'm making up names for our Age of Rebellion campaign. I'm like, all right, how many times have I used D as the starting letter for a name? All right, okay, I haven't used very many of them. Let me start with a D. Okay, now I need a vowel. I need a consonant. They're just starting to. They're using words. I'm using letters, trying to come up with a Star Wars name. But it does feel like they're doing exactly what you're saying. Give me a first name. Genesis. Red. You're like, oh, okay, that works.
Because the military has a database for missions, the generator, like taco, Sunday, and that's.
Well, I think I'm thinking what happened is they heard our podcast, or I was making fun of their 80s action movie names, and they've decided to go over either that or they're saving all of those for the Empire. So
wait,
the Empire has
Rutger Hauer play Genesis Red?
that's maybe. So,
that one was Stallone. He was the bad guy, I'm sure.
It does sound like another 80s movie, or at least a villain or some form of a bad thing in a movie. So, but yeah,
I'm putting on the table Genesis Red.
Right, yeah. But is he the highest pilot skill Scyk that we have? A 7?
No, there's still Sarisu.
Yeah, Sarisu's
oh, there is
8.
one.
Yeah, Sarisu's 8. So this is the second highest. So, Biff, do you want to go ahead and tell us about Genesis Red?
Genesis Red. So he's pilot skill 7, just as was mentioned. Cost is 19 points for this particular unique pilot. And he's got a special ability that reads, after you acquire a target lock, assign focus and evade tokens to your ship until you have the same number of each token as the locked ship. Very interesting. Talk about sucking tokens, if you will.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty,
you got Manaroo near Fen Rao, and a tiny mind link, and they're all dumped up. Somebody's got like 2 focus tokens and evade and whatnot. Boop, it's all mine now too.
Well, see, that's the thing about this. You mentioned it, but if you Atani mind link this guy, like with other ships in your list, like holy crap, the stuff he starts spreading around, right?
So he gets a free focus, and he'll target lock, and he'll get whatever you've got. So you could have like a focused target lock evade, even
or
just
he
on like
spreads it around, doesn't he?
Yeah,
when he spreads.
Oh
yeah, the evades or focuses. So like, hey, look, I just target locked. Soon Tier fell. We keep using him as our basis for cheesy token heavy people, but
Sure.
or one of the defenders, because he's one of the last ones to move. He's a really high pilot skill, so everybody's got their tokens, or most people do. So, ooh, the guy with all the crazy tokens, I'm target locking you, and with the Atani, I'm spreading it around all of your crazy tokens to all of my people too. So your benefits just became my benefits as well.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of veteran instincts on this guy if we see him, because then it'll give him a more guaranteed position to be picking up those tokens. Because he's only pilot skill 7. If you want to pick up tokens off Sinterfell, then you want to be pilot skill 9. Well, he works all right at pilot skill 7.
Sinterfell gone. The PS war seems to be in a cold phase. Like everybody's taking defenders and other things. You don't see PS. It's not a high requirement as it used to be.
No, that's true.
So actually, you might not need the PS9. I don't know. I think a tiny mind link on this guy would be better, because even if he bumps, or whatever, he could. Well, I guess if he bumps, he won't get around the target lock. But let's say everybody else is stressed or something along those lines, he can grab the target lock and boom, get the focus of the rest of the team if nobody else has. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a good point, J-Bot.
So I suppose there's the opportunity where he could trigger this multiple times in a turn. I mean, obviously he could take his own target lock, but if somebody grants him the ability to acquire a target lock, it would trigger again and potentially again.
Oh, so Manaru can pass someone their target lock. And Manaru could pass it maybe just to Red.
That's an interesting thing. So if he's got a ship, like let's say he target locks something, or somebody gives him a target lock, and then he switches his target lock to somebody else when he actually goes, does he double up? Like, I'm taking the focus from this guy. Oh, this guy had a focus in evade. Now I've got 2 focuses in evade. It does read kind of like it works that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to have to be in the language. If you're literally just like passing the token, like you're moving the blue or you're moving the red, that may not be the same as you're granting him to acquire a lock. Yeah. So, and I'm just not familiar with like the text of some of those, moving the lock.
I'm going to borrow on y'all's crazy knowledge, but are there epic crew or combinations that would do that? So if I'm flying him next to something or near something, that the epic crew would be able to grant him the ability to take a target lock.
I believe targeting coordinator.
Yes, on the C-Roc, which we talked about as a good thing to do.
Yeah, I'm checking it now. Just trying to see. May spend 1 energy to choose 1 friendly ship at range 1 to 2, acquire a target lock, then assign the blue target lock token to the chosen ship. Yeah. Good job, Biff.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is. It's going to be in that language.
Yeah, the question is, assigning and acquiring. It's probably not going to work out the way we want it to.
But still,
there are ways to. Yeah, there are ways to acquire, target locks. Multiple ways. I'm not sure that any of them can be applied to Genesis Red.
Tracer rounds.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, tracer rounds would do it. It's a one shot unless you had extra munition it. But.
Yeah. Or scavenger crane it. Well, if you're flying with a bunch of light Scyks nearby, something's going to blow up.
That's true.
We got an engine from this guy and the blaster pack from this guy.
The pulse ray from that guy.
Oh, now we got a tracer missile.
That's right. Somehow I got a tracer missile.
I love it.
Who knew you could turn a Scyk into a plasma torpedo, or just by blowing one up? It's amazing.
We just took the engine without the wings, cockpit, or anything else.
Did you guys ever watch Junkyard Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going on in the middle of a dogfight. Yeah.
Yeah, but
very good crane, very fast crane.
This guy's pretty cool. I like Genesis Red. That, and of course, he's got a cool paint job where he's got that matte, black gray with red trims. You know someone's going to paint up, their Scyks to look like that. Yeah. Cool. So, moving on to and some of the other ones said you might also take fearlessness, where it gives them if it's range 1, you basically get to add a free hit result.
if you're in their arc, I believe is how fearlessness is. You both have to be in arc of each other.
Yeah. And so if you're inside their arc and you grab like their focus and evade tokens, So you've got a target lock on them, and then you've got all of their focus and evade tokens. You've got like a focus for when they shoot at you, then you've got a focus for when you shoot at them, and then you can add in a free hit. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. You could do crazy stuff with it. So, yeah, I like it.
Cool.
So the next one also has a really cool paint job on the card. Luck and Rockets is what it is. So Sunny Bounder is the next pilot. Now I'm sure they're probably somewhere in the EU, the Legends. But
probably Star Wars Galaxies, the game. That's where the Scyk first showed up. So.
But I like it. This is the PS1 pilot. So, Biff, do you want to go ahead and tell us about it?
Sure. Yep. Pilot skill 1, as you just mentioned. Again, unique pilot, the Sunny Bounder. I just can't get past that name. I kind of equate his pilot skill 1 to this like really pleasant, happy, jovial demeanor that just cannot go fight anywhere.
Her. It's actually a her.
Oh, it's a her. Okay.
And actually, I just Wikipedia'd. Sunny Bounder was a Corellian swoop racer and the leader of the criminal swoop gang, the Black Seraphs. She was tall, narrow, and hard-eyed. Sunny Ryder had been
Oh, that's important to know.
Yeah, hard-eyed. Sunny Ryder had been a swoop and speeder bike rider since her childhood and was also involved in illegal activities such as fixing races and organizing illegal swoop races. Involved in the shady activities of criminal swoop gangs, she formed the Black Seraphs from the remains of another swoop gang whose destruction she had played a role in. The Bounder and the Black Seraphs would arrange fake swoop races on the Dragonbane circuit to attract novice racers, whom they would rob and leave for dead. Wow.
Dragonbane, a friend of Talon Cobra Brain.
There you go.
Talonbane Cobra. Yeah.
That's right.
He's Cobra from the Talonbane.
Right. Yeah, it's a Talonbane clan.
Talonbane is the family name.
Yeah, it's actually a level of races where you can go from Cockroach Bane up to like Cat Bane, up to Dog Bane, eventually up to like Cobra Bane. Oh, the Dragon Bane is pretty high up there. So
that's probably like the leader of the clan, Dragon Bane.
So that's Sunny Bounder. I had to Wikipedia. Okay, so I'm sorry, Biff. Go on.
Yep, she's 14 points in her special ability, which I'm really kind of fascinated with. Once per round, after you roll or re-roll dice, if you have the same result on each of your dice, you may add one matching result. So there's a kind of a timing bit with that I'm kind of curious about. But
so,
some of the... Yeah, go ahead.
Here's an example. Let's say... So it all completely depends on luck, and it even depends on how many dice you're using. So let's just say, for example, defense, 3 green dice. Let's say you've got a focus and you're sitting there and you roll, boom, 3 eyeballs. You add a 4th eyeball. Then you spend your focus token.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you're on attack. You roll 2 red dice. You get 2 hits. Boom, you add a 3rd.
Right, but
one
what
of the
you can't
examples...
do...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what you can't do is roll a hit and a focus, and then spend your focus token, and then add the matching result. It has to be right after you roll.
Natural dice rolling, not for modification.
So part of the gamble comes in. If I have a reroll option, do I reroll the focus, hoping to get a hit, and then turn it into a 3rd hit? What I like as a very bad dice roller is, hey, I've got a target lock on somebody, and I blank out on my dice, which seems to happen all the time. Hey, I get a free blank to add to it to roll with my target lock, for example. So I do kind of like that. It's a good and bad adjustment. So you roll crap. Hey, you get another crap result, but you might have an option of adjusting those after the fact with like a target lock or something to reroll all of them. So it's a very neat ability for 14 points, possibly 12 if you stick them in a light Scyk. So very interesting.
Yeah. So I think that's one they mentioned in the article, that it's easier to roll the same with like attack dice with 2 dice than it is with 3 dice, so that not going for some sort of crazy cannon upgrade or whatnot with the heavy. So going with just a light Scyk, even not dropping her down to 12 points, and then she, her chances of somehow getting all the dice. And it does happen at times. Sometimes you roll like 3 evade, boom, 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 you get a 4th, or that it's not something you can plan on. But it's really cool when it happens.
Right, yeah, and there's a lot of instances where I think we've all been there where somebody hits you 3 times and you have, or let's say in this case, hits you 4 times, and you're like, oh well, crap, there's no reason for me to roll. Like I've got 1 whole point left, for example. No reason for me to roll. I've only got 3 agility. I can't beat it. Well, now you've got an opportunity. There's so many times I've run into where they're only 1 die better than your agility is, and at least with this, you've got that chance. You've actually got a chance versus. Nope, I've only got 2 agility and no way I can avoid it sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's fun for a possible just 12 points. It would be interesting to just throw it into list because it becomes a headhunter at that point. So
yeah, and I say I've shot with TIE fighters a lot, and the number of times you get things like double eyeball or double hits, or even double blanks where you've got a target lock because this thing can target lock. The number of times your roll doubles is a lot higher than you'd think. So it's pretty nifty. It'd be awesome, amazingly rare, if you could actually roll double crits and then add another crit in. I think. Go on.
I want to kind of poke on that timing bit just a little bit, because if you with the text, this can be triggered after you roll or you re-roll. So re-rolls would occur perhaps as a result of a target lock. And that occurs during the modify attack dice phase. So I do see a scenario to where you could roll a mismatch, like a hit and a focus. If by some chance you were able to get a focus from somebody else and also have a target lock, you could burn your focus to have yourself with 2 hits.
No, it doesn't. But that still doesn't count because actually, technically, what you do is you don't burn your focus till after the re-roll. Technically.
Well, I suppose you have a choice. You're in the modify attack dice. You could do it in any order you want. You could burn the focus, then go ahead and choose to re-roll by using the target lock, but you choose to re-roll no dice. And now, boom, you've done a re-roll. You've got matching results. I get to add 1.
Can you spend a target lock to reroll? I mean, it's not after you spend a target lock, it's after you reroll dice. Yeah. So if you don't reroll any dice, have you rerolled dice?
You haven't. You can spend your target lock without rerolling dice.
I don't think you can. Yeah.
You can spend focus without actually adjusting anything. That's been cleared up. And you can spend the target lock without adjusting anything, but you're not re-rolling. You're just spending your target lock.
It is a question. I do like the idea. It's an interesting question for it because you're losing something.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, you've spent your target lock, but you haven't re-rolled any dice unless you've re-rolled dice.
Yeah. Yep. I think overall this is a really fun card. Okay, it may not be at the top tables of Worlds, but I don't care. It's a fun card. And so far, all these things so far are fun. They look really cool. And some people were just like, oh, these are terrible, blah, blah, blah. This is bum. This is blah. All these are a waste, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is your joy of the game dead? I mean, why do you play this game? I read these things and I'm like,
well, if you base it on some of the faces we saw at the tournament yesterday, I think yes. The answer to that question is yes. The joy is gone.
Why should you play this game? I'm like, I read this and I just start cackling about all the crazy crap that you can do. I'm like, these crazy pilots and abilities and all this weird stuff. Like, I can't wait to put this stuff on the table. I'll be giddy running around trying to do this stupid stuff. I don't care if I blow myself up. It's going to be fun. And like, how could you people not just want to try this stuff? Like, really? Do you guys just really want to sit here and, poo all over this or what? I don't understand people.
Well, it's a different mindset. It's victory or death when you're in that mindset. And in ours, it's a victory or at least a nice and enjoyable, explosive, comical death. So you can enjoy those.
Yeah. All right.
This was a card where, from my point of view, inserting the word immediately would be great, but now that it's been nerfed, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, I have to take another break, and I don't want to miss any conversation. We have to edit this out. I'll be right back. This morning thing with
we'll see if we edit this out or not.
Oh,
yeah. Edit nothing.
Quick, put an Ewok on.
That's funny. Yeah, it does. I didn't see that immediately thing. That is so funny. Like, why would they bother doing that? Like, it was something we're missing. There's got to be something that we non-tournament folk are missing, and I feel like it has to be in their flow chart of stages and steps and word usage and everything else that they must either have something coming out that would grossly affect, or they've seen something in their testing that too many people are asking questions about. Maybe just
I think
strange change.
It's just I think it's their way of dealing with the fact that things are getting to be so complicated that by inserting the word immediately on a card, it kind of implies that regardless of what's going on the board, you're going to stop and do something right away, which in their whole scheme of not only like the combat flow chart, but now just even within like activation, they've got to start staging things and how if you trigger an effect on a card, you've got to run that to completion before you move on to the next like step in the process. And if you have these immediately statements floating around all over the place, you're constantly getting derailed. So to me, this was their way of kind of saying, okay, we've been overzealous with the use of immediately, and we've got to kind of dumb it down a bit.
Yeah, it must. I'm wondering if they've got either something coming out or something that's out that they didn't realize where two immediatelys were affecting each other. Like, oh, this one they can't both be immediately.
Creates like a feedback loop, and the game destroys itself.
So there is one thing in this article that I didn't get, because it says, likewise, if you're lucky enough to roll 3 evade or 3 focus results from when you have a focus token, Sunny Bounder is the only Scyk pilot with an innate ability to merge unscathed from an encounter with Miranda Donnie's 5-hit proton torpedoes. I'm like, okay, let's see. Let's count that up. 3 evade dice, add 1, 4 evade versus a 5-hit proton torpedo.
Well, if you're behind an asteroid.
If you're in a very specific thing. If you're
and then you roll 4
asteroid.
evade.
You roll
4 evade.
Yeah. Well, no, if you're behind an asteroid, and you have a stealth device.
Or you're running an evade
Or you have evade token.
Yeah.
But here it says, if you're lucky enough to roll 3 evade dice.
That's right.
You can emerge unscathed.
Right. It doesn't say like with all these other.
No, yeah. Okay, yeah.
You should write
how
that
it
in
goes.
and say you screwed up.
Here's how it goes. Okay, you have Sunny Bounder. You take an evade action.
Mm-hmm.
You get shot with these 5-hit proton torpedoes. So you have 5 hits coming at you. You roll 3 evades. You add 1 result from your ability. You add 1 result from your evade dice. That's 5.
You got it. You can do it. All right. I'm mollified.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
I'm glad. Only you can do it.
Yeah.
Assuming you're not behind an epic ship that gives the 3 dice when it obstructs.
Yeah.
I guess
okay.
Nate, but okay, cool. So last pilot, right?
Yeah, Quinn Jast, which is a she.
Before we start, the first dozen times I read this, I read Quinn Jet. Now, maybe I've seen Avengers way too many times, but every time Quinn Jet, oh, that stupid Jast. Like, I can't unsee it now. It's like the Bucktooth Pac-Man. I can't unsee Quinjet every time I see this card down. So that I almost can't get past that part, but it's got a very interesting ability. I'll let you guys dig into.
Liking Ordnance, I'm someone who likes this one, but Quinn Jast. So, I couldn't think forever because I knew a guy named Michael Quinn, and Quinn to me is, I think, Guy. But then there's Harley Quinn, which is, the female comic character. So It's a her, though. It's a her. For everyone there, it's a her. Quinjast. And see, who wants to go ahead and read that? Biff?
I'll read it. I'll read it since I actually have the card in front of me.
Yes.
Our Quinjet is a pilot skill 6, 18 points with an EPT slot, and her ability is at the start of the combat phase, you may receive a weapons disabled token to flip one of your discarded torpedo or missile upgrade cards face up. Now, for me, I always wondered why you couldn't do this anyway. Like, I never got the whole I can only load one torpedo onto my ship or one. Like, I always was wondering why, for that many points, when I first got in the game, for that many points, why can't I have some ability to reload it? And I guess this is the first time, short of a scavenger crane, where somebody has that. Like, wow, Quinjet's the first time we ever thought to put a whole bunch of torpedoes on one that we can reload. It just takes a turn or two to do it. So. I like the ability. Aren't you forced to take a very certain build with this in order to use that?
I mean, you would just not take this pilot unless you're taking missiles or torpedoes.
Ordnance, yeah. Unless you're doing some sort of Hunger Games,
right? So you're basically So you're forced to take a heavy, right?
Pretty much.
If you want to use her ability, you're forced to take it.
Right, but why would you ever spend that many points on not use it? I guess is what I'm after.
I have no idea. Though, like the article says, made her a 25-point pilot, and like, a good flanker, proton torpedoes, throw it out there, guidance chip, blah blah blah. But I was thinking, what would be really cool is to go with an ion pulse missile, and you go with her with an ion pulse missile. Hang on, I want to pop up to make sure I get the wording right for ion pulse missile.
I see where you're going, but the way your ability works.
3 points and range 2 to 3, a target lock that you don't have to spend when you fire, and you hit, that target suffers 2 ion tokens. So basically, you ion a big ship. You spend a round disabled, but you get it set up so that probably no matter where it goes, you'll be able to have it, because big ships usually aren't that crazy, to get out of. Then you ionize it again and just keep every 2 rounds you get to ionize it.
It's every 2 rounds, so.
Yeah, every 2 rounds. That's the thing. But at the same time, let's say you've got some heavy Cyks with ion cannons.
This is quite the scenario you've cooked up.
You could walk a large ship off the board. I mean,
all you need is 2 Cyks with ion cannons to pretty reliably walk most large ships off the table.
Quite you.
That's right.
They need to keep them alive. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I still think that you could every 2 rounds ionize somebody, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like every 2 rounds you kill somebody with a fully modified torpedo or missile shot.
Well, if you want to go that route.
If you want to metagame this whole thing, Phil, I guess we could do that.
But that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
I like the ability. I think it should be standard.
Yeah,
that's what I was after when I read it. It was like, why is this not part of the ordnance fix, quote unquote, that was out there?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed to see it on a pilot card. Actually, I would have been much happier to see this on like a modification card or some sort of title card.
A modification. Modification for bombers or really
or a
anybody
torpedo
instead
or
of guidance.
missile slot, sort of like extra munitions.
Yeah, like either that or take up a modification slot. It's a mod that's just that works like anything else, but you can't use guidance chips now. Like it sucks away your guidance chips.
People want it with guidance chips. So.
No, I know.
Obviously.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that in a way would be a balancing factor for, hey, I can put it on a Punisher, but I can't put guidance chips on them. So it might be a little bit cheaper than putting extra munitions on there, but it comes with a couple of detractors as well, a couple kind of disadvantages to it to balance it out. But
look, everybody knows, or at least everybody who read that strange conspiracy theory thread on FFG knows that they're just now throwing out stuff to test for X-Wing 2.0.
That's
pretty good.
That's a good conspiracy. They're just throwing stuff out there, whether it's balanced or not, just to see what people do.
They're testing. Everybody knows that 2.0 is around the corner, so this is just they're testing abilities before 2.0 comes out, so they can see how broken it is.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a dumb question. I can't pull it up really fast. Did they provide weapons disabled tokens in that pack of stuff that comes with the C-Roc?
They did. They did.
Did they? Okay.
Yep.
So we just all missed it. I can't believe we missed it, guys. We could have predicted this.
I just don't look because I think some people did talk about it. Look, there's weapons. I'm sure that Jabba the Hutt when you get 7 weapons.
That's right. Maybe that's where we missed it.
People were talking about
weapons disable people. Oh my god.
It's actually kind of funny that they don't give you more because isn't the Arc Caster also something that gives you weapons disabled?
Yeah, the Arc Caster.
When you
try
5
to
of
flip
those
it back,
you need 5 disabled tokens.
Yeah. So yeah, you need at least 5 of them, right?
Maybe there's
how many
more.
How many can you get into a list if you're running the cheapest ones?
25.
With the cheapest.
You can't put it.
14.
Ooh, that's a great epic game. I love it.
16.
That's what I was trying. Like, what's the cheapest heavy seat that could actually put that cannon on?
You could probably get 6 or 7.
5 with the cannon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how many can you get into a list that can take that cannon that requires weapons disabled tokens? Is what I was after. So
I think
if it's 5, they've probably done
5.
that math. So it's probably 5.
Yeah, because it's 18 points, right? Because the base Scyk is 14, 2 for this title, 2 for the cannon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're smarter than all of us.
We're being cheated by not getting enough weapon disabled tokens.
Well, those of us with Punishers or K-Wings probably are all right.
Yeah.
Not a few of those spare. Or the K-Wing, I guess. Punisher
Just the K-Wing. That's the thing. It's only coming with the K-Wing so far, so we may actually not have enough.
No, I certainly have enough.
I'm okay. I'm not saying it's cheating.
Well, once I get into 5, I should say. Because I probably this might be the first epic ship I get, really. So,
woohoo!
I mean, I like the look of it so much, and I have actually enjoyed most of the cards that come in this set. Most. There's a few we already discussed earlier that I'm not super happy with, but overall, I'm actually liking this as a big epic ship that to introduce me to epic in my box, which worries me about storage. I don't want to turn into Jim requiring a luggage case and a list of Sherpas to bring all of my stuff into the game.
Oh god, they get so expensive too. I have to buy yak milk for them every time.
Yak milk, yeah.
Yeah, so this whole thing is fun. Like, I can't wait for this C-Roc. Yo. It's just got so many cool things.
I find it kind of interesting, and I completely agree with the whole reload on Quinn. But that was not what I zeroed in on when I first read this card. I think you guys are going to get a kick out of this. What I got wrapped around was the procedure. I was completely thrown off from a standpoint of, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly.
This messes with my flow chart.
I'm like, I don't flip my cards over when they're discarded. They're like off the table. And I'm like, where? So I immediately lock in on the word discard and the notion of turning it face up. And I'm like, did FFG define discard?
Yes.
And the only place I found it was in the core rule book. And they talk about returning it to the game box. Unless this is a tournament thing, but
it is somewhere. You flip it. It was somewhere. It really was. I remember it coming out.
I don't know. I'm trusting Biff's reading of the rules and flowcharts better than I am Jim's kind of.
It might have been FAQ 1.274D, but
subsection A, line 4. When I see people use munitions, they always flip them down. I think it's because they don't like putting the cards up. They like to keep them with the ships. And that's what I've always done, because when I finish, I have card sleeves on most stuff, as almost all of us do. I actually take the mini cards and slide them into the pilot card so I don't lose them if I want to run the ship again.
Yeah.
So that's why I flip mine down. I don't just throw them into the box unless I'm just frustrated and just dump everything in the box, just sweep it off the table into my container.
Yes, but then you're blocking the cards, so I can't read it during a tournament, and I need to read the text of the card because that is.
let me tell everybody out there, just so you know, this did come up in the tournament yesterday. Just so you guys know, don't stack tokens at all. Like, don't ever put your shield tokens on top of each other. Don't put your focus on top of your evade or whatever on your ship, because that's important that people can see. Because God help you if you can't ask your opponent, how many shields do you have left on that? Or do you have a focus and evade, or what tokens are on it? No, you have to be able to see it and not talk to your opponent at all. That's the only way it works.
There were words spoken because someone stacked their tokens. They put their focus on top of their evade, and someone didn't see the evade. And they would have done things differently.
Yeah,
and they were everything.
They couldn't ask their opponent. What tokens he has. They just looked at it and made their assumption in their mind. So for everybody going forward, make sure you don't stack tokens. Everybody can see everything. You know, don't scatter your crap all over the table, which is what I tend to do. You know, jeez. So sorry.
If you had a super large focus token, but a regular size evade, it might not be, or it actually might be more of a problem. Yeah, you start hiding your tokens under your giant token. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got eight evades here. You didn't see them.
You didn't see the stack of evades I had hiding under my one target lock token. But yeah, I don't know where the language is at in there, Biff. That's just the way I've always done it. I don't know why, but I'm wondering if it's in there now because of the dual-sided cards. If they put something in there that's just discard means flip. You know, it could just be as simple as that, written as, you know, 3 lines somewhere buried in a paragraph somewhere. So.
Yeah. You know, me trying to run things to ground, I wound up searching through the rules reference and the core rule book, even the FAQ. And I certainly can miss something, but yeah, like I say, the only thing I found was in the core rulebook. So I chuckled to myself. I share this in goodwill with the rest of you.
Right. Well, he's the slicer of our group, and he couldn't slice up anything out of all the data banks.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, I missed that roll. I don't understand. Like, I can't find anything but this one reference. I'm like, well, that's how it works. Sometimes you don't make that roll. Sometimes you do. So, well, anybody listening, help us find it in the rules somewhere and explain to us what page, paragraph, section, and et cetera, chapter and verse
Please
it is.
do our work for us.
Yeah, so Lord knows I'm not going to do it. It's already done 10 times as much in like three shows than I have done in the entire
preparation.
Right, preparation time. Like, I was like, hold on, I don't even have that website open when you guys are asking me questions about these cards.
Right. Next preparation packet that you do for yourself, Biff, make sure to email us it, because we certainly don't have it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll start now. I mean,
yeah, I had notes for this. I'm more professional than you guys.
Of course, Phil did. Phil's ready to go at all times. Like, but Jim, you and I are gonna have to step our game up when it comes to preparation for this podcast.
Well, I have done prep before, but I found out. Usually I have it all memorized for the most part. Like, I'll usually go to the forums and I'll debate with people, you know, for half a work day.
That's not preparation.
It is, because I get to find out what other people think, and sometimes there's a clever use that other people have found out that I hadn't thought of.
That's like me watching sports and yelling at the referees as preparation for my role on this podcast. Like, complaining about plays and, hey, that was a stupid call. Like, all right, I'm ready. I'm warmed up, guys. Let's do this.
Because sometimes they respond back. They go, no, it doesn't, because this, and this reason. I'll go, oh, you know, I disagree with you, but it made me totally think of this other thing, you know, blah, blah, blah. That it gets my juices percolating on different ideas and stuff with the different things. So I actually do research. I just don't write it down.
Your forum lurking and all the time you spend on your forums. You're just trying to excuse that. It's okay. First, you have to admit you have the problem.
I have to fix it. I spend too much long in the forums. It's absolutely well known. I fully admit it. Because what is my post count up to these days?
Post count. Oh God, he's talking post count.
God, I'm up to
We've gone off the rails, guys.
8,302 posts, and I've gotten 7,679 likes. So that's a pretty high like.
Isn't that like a monthly number?
How many likes do you have, Jbot?
I think I've got like 4 posts. I don't even know. I have to Google the FFG forums. I don't have it saved in my favorites, and it's not my homepage like it sounds like Jim's is. So.
Yes, I do have it bookmarked on all my devices. All right.
Access.
Yeah, which was crazy when they had to do forums. I had to get new bookmarks, so the old ones didn't work. It drove me nuts. Driving these nuts. Anyways.
That's funny. Hey, I've got 14, whatever that means. What does 14 mean?
14 likes? Is it a little plus
I have
symbol?
no idea what 14 means.
14.
I don't even know how you look this crap up, so whatever. There you go.
I can look it up for you. You did.
No, it's okay. It's all right. Oh, I've put 15 posts and I've got 14 likes. Ding! I think my ratio is better than yours, Jim.
Yeah.
It is. See?
It's impressive.
See how important this stuff is?
That's right. I only put good content out there, but quality over quantity when I go to the
forget
forum.
that I gave you half those likes.
Doesn't matter how I got them. All right, we're off the rails.
Yes, we're officially off the rails at this point. And I do the proximity warning that we are heading up towards Endor now. So, any last comments on the Scyk?
I think I've said my piece that this is going to be the first epic that I more than likely buy because it's got so much interesting and really looks like worthwhile content in it.
I want it to be available immediately.
Well, I mean, you could always print off the cards, and start using them ahead of time. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, and I've seriously thought about doing that. So
probably some sort of copyright issue, but
well, I mean, not taking it to a tournament, but
yeah.
You can print out the cards and just play at home. I did it for Integrated Astromech because I wanted to see more X-Wings on the table, so I printed off a stack and handed them out to people. And I was like, play, Integrated Astromech, play ahead of time. It's just like what's the program you use online that you play? Just Vassal. Like Vassal, just like Vassal, but in real life. Hey. So,
my last comment is I'm still waiting to see what that final 5 card is in the C-Roc pack. But whatever they have multiple 5 of, because it's probably something to do with the Scyk. It could be another fix. It could be the medium Scyk card, as you were talking about. So I'm waiting for that final judgment on the Scyk after that.
Yeah, I know I've said final comment, but I'm interested in that because I still have Scyks on the table as a possible stock class for Mario Kart because they have so many things that they can do. So if it's another adjustment like the medium, heavy, light idea, that might just tip it over into I've got to run this as a class because then they become so many options for people.
Right.
So.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to use more Scyks. I like Scyks on it, so that's good. All right. So maybe this is the time I don't buy an epic ship and I just use yours, J-Bot.
Yeah, no, you got to get one because I want to run at least like 3 or 4 of them whenever we do a big epic battle at some point. So everybody needs to buy one so I can borrow them.
Well, that's true. I'm going to get it. I can't not. So
that's right. You own all the others. Stop now.
Yeah, I'll definitely be getting it. Cool. All right, so I think that about covers it. Everybody, thanks for using the Shuttle Tydirum for your flights to and from Endor, and please watch out for Ewok droppings. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. Tune in next week.
Yeah, thank you. See you.